We are Blackmore. We are Southwest.
Bolstered by an offensive resurgence, the Phillies Rangers come into tonight's contest riding the longest win streak in the majors with 6 straight victories. After a day of rest, the Rangers bats look to feast once again as they'll face a pitching staff struggling through the month of May. Vanny's crew hopes to keep it rolling for lucky number 7 as they open a 3-game interleague clash with the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. Welcome to Texas Rangers baseball, presented by AT&T. A Tuesday night here at Globe Life Park, and everybody hungry for more wins. The Rangers on a 6-game winning streak, and they hope to keep it going here interleague style. Rangers and Phillies opening game of this 3-game series, and it's Darvish Day. Yu Darvish has the ball in game 1. Welcome in again, everybody. Great to be with you tonight. I'm Dave Raymond with CJ Nitkowski. It is a 6-game winning streak for the Rangers, longest in Major League Baseball, and they've done it a lot of ways, but primarily coming back late in these games. The offense has been a huge key.
The offense has been terrific, and I will tell you what's really sticking out to me over this 6-game win streak is that they're putting the ball in play a lot better than they had been previously. We know they had the long streak of 10-plus strikeouts in a game, but all of a sudden now there's a lot more contact. There are a lot of big hits as well, some late-inning heroics, which have been extremely important. You see the 21 runs scored 7th inning or later. So not only has it been a great win streak and a great run here for the offense, but it has been exciting to watch because they are doing it late in big moments.
Yeah, and so tonight they try to extend that against a Phillies team that has really struggled. And the good news for the Rangers, too, they send their ace, Yu Darvish, to the mound.
Always good news when you have Yu Darvish on the mound and you are a Ranger fan, but he has been so good in interleague play. And take a look at this and what he has done at home. That is certainly some good news, as he will get a home start tonight. But overall, when you look at Yu Darvish in the course of his career, interleague play has been really strong. The strikeout rate has actually gone up nearly 12 per 9 for him when he is facing those National League teams. And now tonight for the Philadelphia Phillies, a bat that he has to keep an eye on, Aaron Altair. And this is what he has done in May. These numbers right here, he has been fantastic so far this month. This is a guy who's got a little bit of broken service time over the last 3 seasons, but this year getting an opportunity to play every day. The walks are up, the strikeouts are down, and the 26-year-old has been very, very good for the Phillies.
All right, not to be lost in all the excitement lately has been a resurgent bullpen for the Rangers. We'll put them in the spotlight when we come back after this. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Well, just about set to go tonight. Opening game of this 3-game series with the Phillies. And this series will put a wrap on what has, to this point, been an outstanding homestand for the Rangers. But as I mentioned as we went to break, what you don't want to lose in all the hubbub has been this bullpen. And it's time for our Shiner Light Blonde Spotlight. CJ, they have really put it together.
Without a doubt. And this was a problem early in the season. Some guys got off to some rough starts. The bullpen had their issues, but it seems like they have now righted the course. They were throwing the ball extremely well. Some roles have been changed, but I think Jeff Bannister has gotten a little bit more comfortable with how he is going to use guys, a little bit more consistency there. But here's the big one that sticks out. And we've heard Doug Brocail talk about it, Jeff Bannister talk about it. Look at just the 3 walks during that 6-game win streak. That is huge for them. That had been a problem with them. The walks had gotten high. Listen, walks are never a good thing, but especially late in the game for the bullpen, putting guys on base when you're kind of expected to be putting out some fires. And Jeff Bannister smiling right now, as you always do during a 6-game winning streak.
The other thing to me, though, Matt Bush was named closer, and that happened a while ago, but he's really had the opportunity to take over that role lately.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising how few save opportunities there actually had been for him once he went in that role, but he has been there now for a while, and he has been extremely consistent and seems like he's very comfortable with that role, right? It's one thing to say, okay, well, he looks the part, tops out at 100 miles an hour, has a really nice breaking ball. Yeah, he should be able to close, but if you haven't done it consistently, you just never know how a guy is going to react in those moments, and he has been very steady. He seems to be very comfortable in that close role. I mean, he comes across as just kind of one of those guys, just whatever you need, right? You need me to set up, you need me to close, you need me to finish off an inning in the 7th, whatever it may be. Not a lot of drama surrounding Matt Bush, and so he has fit in extremely well in that closing role, and the personality has just really worked, and the Rangers could not be happier.
And that is, I think, in turn, really set everything up after that. Everybody kind of settling into roles behind him in the bullpen, and we just went over the numbers. It has been some kind of fun week here at home for this Rangers team. 5 straight wins here at home, 6 overall, longest in Major League Baseball. Now we turn our attention, though, to the Phillies. Taking a look at their starting lineup tonight. 14 wins, 21 losses. Cesar Hernandez, really talented second baseman, leading it off. Odubel Herrera, Aaron Altair, we'll talk a lot more about what he has done in the month of May. And then Tommy Joseph, their designated hitter, batting cleanup. Saunders, Franco Rupp, Freddie Galvis, and Brock Stassi, their first baseman, rounds it out for Philadelphia.
That's who will be going up against Yu Darvish. And here is what Yu Darvish has done and what he has used so far this season. We look at the pitch arsenal. We know this about Yu Darvish, a very good live 4-seam fastball. The slider is the first go-to when it comes to his off-speed pitches and really trying to put hitters away. The slider there and the cutter is what he uses most. You'll see that curveball, that slow one, that A.J. Griffin type, just kind of surprised you out of nowhere at 70 miles an hour, but he uses it a lot more sparingly than A.J. does. But it is a live arm, and we talk about how good Yu Darvish has been against the National League teams. Now let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by Chicken Express. Delano Shields in left, and Jared Hoying in the big leagues called up right away and will be starting in center field. Unfortunately, with Carlos Gomez going on the DL, some bad news there. He has been such a big part of the Rangers' success as of late. He's been swinging a hot bat. Mazzara and right, you see the rest of the infield there, and Robinson Chirinos back there tonight with Darvish.
What day is it?
It's Tuesday, buddy.
That's right.
That's nice. I had not seen that sign before.
But we have seen the big head.
Yep, and it was behind home plate. Is he behind home plate again? Oh, last time we could see him right in this shot right here.
All right, well, we're ready to go. And Darvish starts us off with strike 1 to Cesar Hernandez. And you look at the numbers for Hernandez at .374 on base percentage. Very quick, and he'll find all kinds of ways to get things started up at the top of the order for this Phillies team. You have to be on your toes for a bunt. He's beat out a number of infield hits as well, so quite a weapon for Pete Mackanin in the Phillies. Darvish ahead 0-2. Where's Mackanin?
Got himself a contract extension, right, through 2018. He's done a really nice job here with the Phillies. You see the numbers, say, well, what's so great about that? Well, what's been more important as far as him being here, going through the rebuild, And you sometimes worry, rebuild, would you want a younger manager, maybe connect better? No, he has been fantastic in that Philadelphia Phillies dugout and clubhouse, and they've been absolutely thrilled what he's been able to get out of these guys so far.
Not an easy job, and it's a tough gig for a lot of guys around baseball who take that job, and a lot of times it's with the expectation that, well, will I be around when it turns around? That extension gives him that chance. 2-2, and a bouncer right out to short. Andrus on top of it, but you got to hustle it over there, and they do manage to get Hernandez one away.
Now, you're absolutely right. You get a first taste of how quick Hernandez is and how quickly he got down the line. And Elvis Andrus knew that, and that's why he charged that ball. Did not waste any time.
So one away. Double Herrera today in center field for the Phillies. Batting second. And another one of the good younger players on this team. Now he's the only one, I believe, with a longer term deal at this point. It's the other thing the Phillies have done as a part of this teardown and rebuild is they are not really locked into any contracts of any length, except maybe with the exception of Herrera, who they signed this offseason to a 5-year extension. Reasonable money, all things considered, as this one lined into center, and Herrera is aboard.
Yeah, reasonable money, without a doubt. They tried to get ahead of the game. It's interesting when you go through these. We'll take a look real quick at the replay here with Herrera lining this ball, trying to go up and in, and almost hit a spot. Just left it over a little bit, like a little bit of a cutter right there, and he does a nice job of lining that ball to center field. But when you go through these rebuilds, you do try to identify a couple of guys. Say, all right, we want to get ahead of the game here. Do we want to be able to lock some guys into some team-friendly deals and see who we think is going to be a part of our future? And there may be some more of those in this group, but as of right now, Herrera is the only young one at 25 years old who has the longer contract.
So he's at first. This team does run a little bit, and a throw back down behind Herrera at first. He's able to get back in there.
Here's the things with the Phillies too. They're in an interesting spot because they have some pretty good young talent. They have about $100 million payroll. They've always had money, and they'll be able to spend at some point when they're ready. But of that payroll right now, you talk about only one guy getting locked in. There's about 4 guys that are eating up nearly 50% of their payroll right now, with Jeremy Hellickson, Clay Buchholz, Howie Kendrick, and Michael Saunders. Almost half the payroll just between those 4 guys, and they're all on 1-year deals. Right? Clay Buchholz is a guy that they look like maybe they would want to trade at the deadline when they signed him. He's now hurt. Hellickson is a guy that a lot of people are asking about and could be a trade candidate. Howie Kendrick is hurt right now. And so, point being is that those guys most likely are all gone next year. That's nearly $50 million coming off their payroll. When they feel like they're ready, they're going to spend. They have a couple of good young players, but they're also going to spend in the open market. So their rebuild is probably exactly where they want. There's no dead money right now for them, like you see some of these teams unfortunately get saddled with.
Good lead, runner going, and this one fouled back by Altair. Darvish almost picked off Herrera just a moment ago. Herrera got right back up and was showing that lean and took off. But the count 1-1 on Altair. And Altair's the guy who we spotlighted in our open today because he has been on some kind of run. 6 home runs, 10 extra base hits in May already. He's in a hole here, 1-2. And you can parse the numbers for Altair. Now you look at the overall numbers for him this year, they're good. You start breaking it down April versus May, and they're just goofy. I mean, a .510 on base percentage in May. He has reached safely now in 11 consecutive games, 26 of his last 51 appearances at the plate. He's made it to first base. Smaller lead over there at first for Herrera now. The pitch on the way. Bouncer could be 2. Odor to Andrus for 1. The relay in time. Got him. And the double play Ends it quiet. Top of the first. Darvish puts up a goose egg, and the Rangers coming to work. Inning works around the base hit, and now the Rangers to get after it. We take a look at our Southwest starting lineup. Rangers 19 and 20, only a game under, and they'll lead it off with Delano DeShields in left field. Andrus, then Mazzara, who's been swinging it well lately. Jonathan Lucroy batting cleanup and acting as the DH. Odor, Napoli, Gallo at third. Robinson Chirinos is the catcher tonight, batting eighth. And Jared Hoying just up with a big club today, and he'll get the start in center field, batting ninth. Jared Eichhoff, right-hander, 26 years old, and misses high.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the arsenal of what Eichhoff will be featuring tonight. Four-seam fastball, heavy usage there. 48% the curveball, without a doubt his best off-speed pitch, and you're going to see that pitch featured a lot tonight, especially against a lot of these right-handed hitters. But it has been a good pitch for him since the start of last year. Over 60% of his strikeouts come on that breaking ball. Third best in Major League Baseball. You see it right there.
And he's got DeShields in a hole 1 and 2. Delano batting leadoff. On base percentage at .322 for DeShields.
Actually might have been the slider. That one's a little bit hard. I don't think it was actually the slider over the curveball. Yep.
And DeShields chases a breaking ball outside, and that strikeout is how we begin the bottom of the first.
Take a look at what the Phillies are featuring tonight defensively, and we mentioned this is a young team. It's also a pretty athletic team. Barrera does a nice job covering ground in center field. Franco has been really good. Left side of the infield, very good defensively here for the Philadelphia Phillies. And for the next 3 days, Rangers fans will get to see them up close. But a pretty good young defense that they throw out here for Pete Maccannon's club.
One out for Elvis Andrus. And Eichhoff gets right in there with strike one. Andrus had a big day on Sunday, 3 for 4 with a double, drove in a couple more. An appeal on that check swing, and no way. Tom Hallion down at first. Andrus, though, now with hits in 5 of his last 6 games. This homestand, the Rangers have won 5 straight, 6 straight going back to the last road trip. Longest win streak right now in baseball. And Andrus hooks this one way foul. Now this homestand, you know, there are a lot of guys who have contributed in so many big ways. Napoli's walk-off home run, Gallo's walk-off home run, but the guy who seems to be in the middle of it every day is Elvis. Andrus with 5 RBIs on this homestand, a .350 average. But he swings and misses, and as a strikeout victim, second of those in this first inning for Eichhoff.
And this is the curveball that I was mentioning. He threw Delano to Shields, the slider, but here is the curveball from Eichhoff, and it's a strike most of the way on the outside part of the plate, but it just got really great depth to it, great rotation. And when you just talked about how well Elvis Andrus has been swinging the bat, and you see him getting fooled out front in that 2-strike count. It hasn't been a great year for Jared Eichhoff, but you look at his stuff and you look at the breaking ball, and you can see where the upside would be here. And the Phillies certainly, to see him throwing a little bit better this year, a little bit more confidence for them that he could be one of their guys going forward.
Well, Mazara batting third, hitting .250 with 5 home runs. And he hammers this ball high in the air, deep right field, and it is gone, a home run. A towering blast to the second deck. One nothing Rangers in the first.
Nomar Mazara gets himself a pitch that is up. It looked like a changeup and not exactly where Jared Eichhoff wanted it. And Nomar not waiting around at all, seeing something off speed and up. He just crushes this ball to right field. Now the home run has only been an issue against lefties for Eichhoff. That is the 6th home run that he has allowed to left-handed hitters this year. He has actually not allowed a home run to a righty all season long. Nomar Mazara putting some wood on that one.
All right, now Jonathan Lucroy. Well, that was a no-doubter. We'll have to wait and see what numbers come back on that home run, but massive. Hard ground ball. That one through into left field. A base hit for Lucroy. So the inning continues. Lucroy aboard, and for a little more on Jonathan, let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, not just Jonathan Day, but a very unique lineup today for Jeff Bannister. 2 catchers in the lineup and 1 in the cleanup spot. There you just saw Jonathan Lucroy with the single. The catcher has been very popular in that cleanup spot. I did ask Jeff Bannister if he'd ever had 2 catchers in the lineup, 1 in the cleanup spot, and he said, not on my watch, but that's what this game is calling me to do today. So this team presents me with challenges, and I'm just trying to answer them.
Well, good answer so far, that's for certain. This one way in on Odor. Just missed him. Rugned. 197 average, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs.
Well, there's certainly some risk, and you don't do it too often where you want to have both of your catchers in the lineup at the same time. If for some reason somebody gets hurt, essentially what that means is you're going to have to punt on your DH, and you end up losing your DH. And I don't know if we want to see any of the Rangers pitchers hitting in this interleague game. Yeah, they look forward to interleague and the idea of maybe picking up the bat, but that's supposed to happen on the road.
Yes.
At National League Stadium. So if there is any kind of issue, that's what you would see would happen. The Rangers would lose the DH if for some reason Jonathan Lucroy had to go behind the plate.
That one turned sharply foul, and it's 1-2 on Odor. Oh, we saw the left-hander Mazara send one 444 feet into the upper deck in right field, and now some pretty aggressive swings by Odor. And there's a good bender for a strike, and Odor down looking. So Eichhoff strikes out the side, but it was the thunder from Nomar Mazara. The scoring is open tonight. Nomar, 6th home run of the year. our Kubota Power Stats. And Darvish, nice job in the top of the first inning. And how about his numbers against National League East teams? So take interleague just a step further against the NL East. 2-0 with a 164. Pretty good.
Very good. You'd have a hard time finding really any bad interleague numbers for you, Darvish. He has just done such an excellent job against these National League lineups. And I mentioned the strikeout rate even gets a little bit of a bump up. Yeah, of course, it means no DH when they're on the road facing a couple of pitchers here and there. But he has really answered the bell over the course of his career in interleague play.
He's got the DH Tommy Joseph here and a breaking ball. 0-2 the count. Joseph with the 5 home runs, getting on base at a pretty decent clip. But he strikes out swinging in the second inning. First of the night for Darvish.
This is a really nice breaking ball located down. You saw a cutter early in there at bat that was up, not exactly where you, Darvish, wanted it, but he does a nice job coming back with a slower breaking ball, finishing that pitch down and away. The one that was up was more of a cutter at 89 miles an hour. Then he comes back with the slider that has some depth at 81, but in a much, much better spot.
Michael Saunders takes one high. Saunders in the 5th spot in the order for the Phillies. That's a Phillies team. I mentioned 14 wins and 21 losses. They're 9 games back of the Nationals out of the National League East. Not that expectations were through the roof, but it has been a little disappointing lately for that man, Pete Mackanin, who, by the way, broke into the big leagues as a player with the Texas Rangers. 2-1 on Saunders.
That's 96 miles an hour with some life down and in. And usually you think, okay, for lefties, down and in is the spot you want to be a little bit careful with, especially for a right-handed pitcher with the fastball. But that had a little cut to it at 96. That's it's a little bit different than your average fastball down there. Craziness. So that's 90 miles an hour. It's a cutter. Now you think cutter, okay, like it cuts in a little flat. No, that went straight down as a cutter. You don't see that too often, but the velocity tells you everything that pitch is about and where the movement is.
Got to that one, but fouls it off, stays alive 2-2.
It's got to be such a frustrating at bat. Obviously, really tough on righties, righty on righty, but even for these lefties, because it's not, a 2 or 3 pitch arsenal. And even when it is a 4-seam fastball, they all look different, right? A little bit of cut on one. Every once in a while, he'll be able to keep it straight, get that high one that kind of stays there.
2-2 from Darvish. Got him swinging, his second strikeout of the night.
That's a perfect example. Now, it wasn't where he wanted it, but the fastball that he saw down and in that he missed, cut. This one that he throws accidentally stays away and has a little rise and life to it and actually tails away. It's the same pitch. Yu Darvish is holding the same exact grip, same exact pitch. That one, again, it was by accident, but it did something different, and it's almost unfair for Michael Saunders.
Darvish is so strong, 6'5", and a very powerful man. And it's almost at times when you see pitches like that, you think the mound should almost be another 5 feet or so back.
Makes my arm hurt just hearing you say that. You know what, though, with these days where we are with home runs, I mean, guys are still hitting for power. We're seeing a lot of it in historically high rates of home runs now. The strikeouts are obviously really high, and so it makes you wonder a little bit. And Rob Manfred's not going to move the mound back, but he does think about ways to try to keep the game exciting and maybe eliminate some of those strikeouts. But I'm not sure there's much you could do to Yu Darvish that's going to stop him from doing what he's been doing throughout his career.
Maikel Franco pops this one up, and it is handled by Napoli to complete a 1-2-3 inning for Yu Darvish. So after an inning and a half, Rangers lead it 1-0. Enjoying the lead as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Tomorrow night, Texas Chili Company, $1 hot dog night. Rangers and Phillies, middle game of this series. Come on out to the ballpark and enjoy hot dogs for just $1 each. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS.
Let me think for a minute. I know we've read that promo a bunch because it's sponsored by Texas Chili. Can you get chili on those $1 dogs, you think?
Probably not for $1.
Yeah, but yeah. Have you ever? Yeah, chili dog's a pretty good way to go.
It is, yeah.
It'd be quite the deal for $1.
Well, here's Napoli leading off the second inning. Napoli, Gallo, and Chirinos. And Jared Eichhoff with the breaking ball. It's 1-1. This ball hit well out toward left field. Altair has to take it on a hop. No, he does not. That one skips past him, and Napoli will cruise to second.
This ball was absolutely smoked by Mike Napoli, and he gets an opportunity to handle a fastball at 96 miles an hour. I think it was foul. Let's check this again. Yeah, fastball right there, and he absolutely crushes this ball. Look at this nice swing, feet down, hands stay back, drive right through the ball. Now, Altair here for me, just I don't know if he realized how hard that ball was hit. You get caught in between, but he certainly had enough time to just kind of catch that on the high hop, unless he was thinking he had a chance to catch it, which he did not. So that ball should be, I would go down single with an error, I'm sure.
And you are correct. And a strike bumped into Gallo. Base hit, E7. Napoli out in scoring position for Gallo, who is second in the American League with 12 home runs. And another threatening left-handed bat against Jared Eichhoff.
By the way, there's 90 miles an hour on the pitch. If I saw something potentially off the bat. Eichhoff does not throw that hard. That fastball will sit about 89 to 92 usually. That one at 90 miles an hour in that spot to Mike Napoli is not one you're going to get away with.
Run in the first inning came on the Mazzaro home run. The 2-1. Oh, that's ball 3 to Napoli. Pardon me, to Gallo. Not a spot if you're Eichhoff that you want to find yourself in, and he has had trouble, you mentioned it earlier, against left-handed hitters hitting for big power.
And the fastball, obviously, we know Joey Gallo can handle it at that velocity, but don't think that you can just throw a get-me-over breaking ball either, because he has shown us that he can crush that pitch as well.
This one lifted high in the air out to left. Altair now kind of moving quickly toward the line, but he makes the play for out number 1. So one away, Napoli at second. Napoli is always a topic of conversation. Isn't that right, Emily?
Yeah, Nap keeps things light in the clubhouse, and there's always, as you said, something going on with Mike Napoli. I noticed some invaders in his locker and had to ask him about it. They're little ninjas hanging from his locker. I asked him what the story was there. He said his brother Joey sends him one after every home run he hits. He's done it for as long as he's played baseball. So pick something different every year. I remember one year here it was trolls. This year it's ninjas. Knapp says he hopes there are an army of ninjas in his locker by the time the season's over, guys.
Well, he's not the only one. Yeah. There are a lot of people, especially now Ranger fans, that know what's going on in Mike Napoli's locker that would love to see it. I don't know, 35, 40 of those would be a pretty good number. Absolutely. We're going to get greedy, maybe 50. I mean, why not? If you're going to ask for something, ask for the world. But cool, because they almost look like they were like rappelling down in his locker, which, of course, any good ninja would have that skill set, I think. I've heard.
Chirinos swings 1-0 and lifts this one foul, third base side, and that one will get out of play. It's like the wind blowing those balls that get up in the air a little bit to the left. That one off the bat looked like it might be close to foul territory, but ended way up into the stands. So 1-1 on Chirinos. Robinson batting 8th and asked for time. We talked about it earlier, but 2 catchers in the lineup tonight for Jeff Bannister. Lucroy the DH, Chirinos catching. Unusual. And strike called. Chirinos with 4 home runs in his last 8 games. When he has gotten in there, he has found a way to be a big part of this offense. Well, hits this ball hard out toward right field. Back is Saunders, and he'll make the play. Napoli tags and moves up to third.
Well, you mentioned that wind blowing, and you had a fly ball to right field right now, and you know sometimes we'll see some carry to right here at Globe Life Park. Not today, not the way that the wind is blowing. I don't think we're going to see a lot of that, especially after the Joey Gallo fly ball thing that we saw to left field. You mentioned the wind seems to be going right to left tonight, and those winds are the flags howling, but the wind has really picked up here.
Jared Hoying hits one on the ground towards second. Hernandez throws over to first and retires Hoying to end the inning. Rangers leave a man at third base, but still lead 1-0.
Top of the third time for our progressive fan of the game. It is Kim Leatherwood. Finished chemo today, guys, and she is here at the ballpark to celebrate. Her mom behind us is a 17-year breast cancer survivor, and Kim just finished up chemo for breast cancer today. And show us your sign, Kim. So she said, I finished chemo today. I want to see some fireworks. Thanks to Nomar Mazara.
Right, we got to see them.
We got it done,
Yeah.
and early on.
And
Kim,
more to come, hopefully.
there you go. I like your attitude. Kim, thanks so much. We appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much.
We'll send it back to y'all.
Yeah, that is fantastic, and I love the attitude too, right? I mean, yeah, you got the fireworks, but let's go. More.
I mean, one firework is not enough. It was a nice firework, no doubt about it, but we didn't come here to see one.
Well, that's
It's the least the guys could do for Kim. Congratulations on finishing up your chemotherapy. That is some fantastic news.
oh, strike in there to Cameron Rupp. The count 0-2. It's Rupp, Freddie Galvis, and Brock Stassi in this third inning. Bottom third of the order for the Phillies. Darvish with a couple of strikeouts in the first two frames. It's strikeout number 3. Rupp goes chasing, one away. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's send it back to Dana Larson.
Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 13, Freddie Galvis.
Oh yeah, thanks Dana. 1-0 here as Darvish picks up his third strikeout.
Freddie Freeman making some noise. I mean, obviously the Braves are not a good team. We'll get a chance to see them in September for some interleague, but he's having a monster year right now. All the talk has been about Bryce Harper and that great start Ryan Zimmerman, but Freddie Freeman is right there. He came into this tonight, or today I should say, hitting .338 with a .452 on base percentage.
0-2 the count now to Galvis. Check this out. Look at these numbers right here for Darvish.
Yeah, you think these Phillies hitters right now are a little bit frustrated, and we know they probably heard, yeah, sometimes, you know, not that it gets sideways, but every once in a while you got to keep an eye on, you know, Darvish, and the fastball command can get away from him a little bit. Now it's helped because they've also chased some fastballs out of the zone, but yes, pretty unbelievable number right there.
Routine grounded to short, and Galvis retired. So 2 away now for the 9th place hitter, Brock Stassi.
That's, you know, listen, 80% strikes, pretty good, I guess.
Well, you always go back to that thing. Well, you could be in the zone too much sometimes, but that's not exactly how this is playing out right here.
No, the times that we've seen Darvish throw an 0-2 strike, and it has happened a couple of times tonight, they're more because guys are chasing him or it's right on the corner. And with that kind of live stuff, you're going to get away with it. You can go at guys. You're trying to split the plate 0-2. You want to go corners. You want to set something else up, elevate, whatever it may be. But it has all been good tonight here for Darvish.
Nice ground ball to first. He'll cover the bag himself and complete another 1-2-3 inning. In fact, he's retired 7 in a row. Darvish dealing out of the gates so far tonight. He works with a 1-0 lead. right, 1-0 Rangers leading. Hey, Rangers fans, download the Fox Sports Go app and take Rangers baseball with you wherever you go. If you can't catch the games on TV, you can still stream them live on your mobile device with the Fox Sports Go app, presented by Hyundai. All right, so to the bottom of the third, it is the top of the Rangers order coming up here against Jared Eichhoff. And DeShields, who struck out in the first inning, takes a strike to begin things here in the third. One and one the count. Eichhoff, who is a Philly by way of Texas. He was a big part of the Cole Hamels trade. Cole Hamels and Jake Diekman coming over at the trade deadline in 2015. Whereas Eichhoff and Matt Harrison went over to the Phillies along with Jorge Alfaro, Alec Asher, Jake Thompson, and Nick Williams. That was a big trade, and Eichhoff really the guy who has paid off in the biggest way for the Phillies so far. 2-2 the count.
Yeah, I think in the guy that probably, based on what they've seen so far, really projects to be a guy that can have some pretty big impact. Now, we said this year hasn't gone great for him, but you can see the stuff as of late has not been pitching particularly well.
A roller shortstop, and DeShields retired to start the third.
But the stuff tells you that it should play. I mean, his last 3 starts, his ERA is up over 8 during that time, and so overall the season hasn't been great, but especially as of late for him, still looking for his first win this season. Now, the other issue you run into when you play on some teams that struggle, he's had some games where he's pitched well where he's not going to get wins, and that's going to happen when you're going through a rebuilding process and maybe your team is not that strong. I mean, his first start 6 2/3 with 2 runs, took a loss. Next one, 7 innings, 1 earned run, no decision. Right, those are frustrating losses or no decisions, but they're going to happen.
Flare out toward right center, and Herrera tracks it down, and that's a pretty nice defensive play out there by Herrera.
Very nice. This ball was well struck, and we'll take a look at Herrera's jump from our high home camera. But look at this swing by Elvis, and they had him shaded that way a little bit, which certainly helped. And Herrera there in plenty of time, but got a good jump, read that ball well. Frustrating at bat, I'm sure, for Elvis. He hit that ball pretty hard.
So 2 outs, bases empty. Similar situation to the one Mazara found himself in the first inning, just before he launched a massive home run. Mazara now with 6 bombs and 27 RBIs on the year. Fouls this one back. So this was just a couple innings ago.
A slider that was supposed to be, and you see him set up down and away. I think they were trying to go backdoor. It ended up finishing up and in. I mean, about as opposite as where catcher's glove was to where they actually wanted that baseball, which makes what we've seen so far on this at bat pretty interesting to me. They've tried to go up and in the first couple of pitches so far, even though that's exactly where the ball was that that Nomar hit, and they're going to do it again.
And he hammers this one down the right field line, but foul.
That's amazing. I mean, they feel strongly about something in their scouting report that says, let's go up and in, but it's kind of odd that that's where the slider was by accident last time. I mean, that's the spot. That's what they wanted, and Nomar does a good job of getting his hands in. It's hard to keep that ball fair, when it's that far in, and he knows that. And, if he kept his hands in enough or tried to keep that ball fair, he's not going to hit it as hard as he just did. But still, very interesting to see the approach here from the Phillies.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
Because you also go up there thinking, even though Nomar knows that they missed their spot, that they're probably not going to go up there again, right, after you just crush that home run. But no, they say, yeah, we actually are. We're going to do it 3 times in a row, too.
Bouncer this time to the right side. Hernandez has to cover a lot of ground, and he rushed himself, bobbled it, and Mazara is aboard. That's a base hit.
This is such a shift frustration base hit here for Jared Eichhoff. Listen, you make your pitch, you do a nice job. It's a breaking ball. It's away. It wasn't perfect, but he gets weak contact. But you have to run so far because when you're playing in the outfield, it ends up being just a really long run for Hernandez. You're almost fielding that ball like an outfielder or like a third baseman coming in for a bunt. And you got your routine ground out, not hit hard, but it turns into a base hit because of the shift. And that's the interesting conversation for me with the shift. What are you banking on? The opposing hitter hitting a ball really hard and you want your guy to be there, or your pitcher making his pitch and you inducing weak contact? I think when you talk about shift, that has to be part of the conversation. You're betting on your pitcher doing well, or are you betting on your pitcher making a mistake, and if he hits the ball hard, then let's have our guy standing where he usually hits the ball hard.
Well, Mazzara's on for Lucroy. And it's 1-1. Well, our TXU Energy power player to watch. Jonathan Lucroy has had some success against the Phillies. Now, of course, this goes back to his time with the Milwaukee Brewers, but a 9-game hitting streak against the Phillies. And hitting right at 470 during that stretch.
It's probably some different pitchers there now than what he was seeing during those years.
It's probably catching one of them
with the Brewers. But he has been really good as of late and so solid with 2 strikes and putting the ball in play.
Boy, back-to-back tosses over to first. So some concern by Eichhoff that Mazzara may be taking off, or at least wanting to keep him a little bit closer.
Well, I saw this crazy stat when I was looking into Eichhoff today. So he has thrown over to first base since the start of last year 187 times, which is the 3rd most of starting pitchers in the game since then.
So is that like a tick?
I don't know. It's a lot. Is it, you know, I mean, he's facing the same hitters everybody else is and the same base runners. So is it, you know, lack of confidence in your catchers, or is it just I like throwing over a lot? Is it a Phillies thing, right, where they're aggressive throwing over a bunch of times? I mean, there's lots of different ways to look at it, but bottom line for the Rangers base runners is they have to know he throws over a lot and be ready.
Lucroy shoots this one foul and out of play. 2-2 the count. Lucroy had the base hit in the first inning, so I guess that hitting streak against the Phillies now at 10 games for him. Rangers already with 4 hits tonight off Eichhoff. Mazzara with a modest lead at first. And strike 3 called. That's the 4th strikeout tonight for Jared Eichhoff. Inning over. Rangers leave another man. We'll go to the 4th inning tonight. It's the Rangers 1, the Phillies 0. Interleague play for this heart of the week, and interleague play has been very good to the Rangers this decade. And you look at that, only the Red Sox with a better winning percentage in interleague play since 2010.
The Rangers have been good, period, really, if you think about what they've done so far in this decade. But taking advantage of those National League opponents, which can be a little tricky in the offense sometimes if there's pitchers that you're not used to seeing. But the Rangers have done a really nice job in interleague. They'd probably be against my idea of cutting interleague down.
A bunt foul by Cesar Hernandez. Yeah, no, I think they've given those numbers. Yes.
Hey, stop saying that. They probably, yeah. Tell me. No more.
Phillies have struggled. They have really unraveled lately. They've lost 12 of their last 15 games. And falling 9 games out now. That one way inside. It's 1-1 on Hernandez. Still a long way to go. This is the 40th game of the year for the Rangers, so they are right on that point of being a quarter of the way through the season. This one on the ground to short. Backhand stop Andrus, and in time to get the speedy Hernandez, and that's a really nice play by Elvis.
Well, this is twice now for Elvis Andrus, understanding what he's dealing with in the runner Hernandez and making the play accordingly. Understanding you can't sit back. It is so important for infielders to know their runners, right? Much slower runner, you could take your time and plant your feet and make the throw, but not with Hernandez. Elvis knows that. You see the quick exchange and the accurate throw just in time.
It's all one away. And now Herrera, who has the only base hit tonight. In fact, he's the only Philly who has found first base. He got on and then was doubled up in the first inning. Herrera, the former Rule 5 pick. Had a real big year last year. And Phillies excited about his potential. Chasing that time 1-1.
The one thing you do worry about when you go through these phases, and Pete Mackanin has talked about this with his club over the last couple of years, is that some of the guys almost get comfortable losing, right? You got to be careful when you go through these rebuilding phases and you're bringing guys through the system and you feel like they're going to be part of your future, but they're seeing a lot of losing. You don't want them to get comfortable and just kind of say, okay, we're just trying to hang in there, keep your head above water. You want to keep them competitive, and he's had that conversation before with some of these young guys.
That one up into the breadbasket of Napoli, and he quickly exchanges to Darvish. Herrera retired, 2 away.
Nice play here by Mike Napoli. You get these choppers that come in. Sometimes you can get caught in between. You have to rely on your hands. That was the case there for Mike Napoli. You don't always get to put your feet in the perfect position based on the way that the ball was hit. And Nap does a nice job of adjusting. Like Darvish hit the bag there. A little close, but nobody's going to say anything. I think we're safe.
He got a piece of it. It's all good. Here's Altair. And a heater in there for a strike.
He's got to get on the mound and throw a pitch real fast.
Altair into that double play in the first inning, which has allowed Darvish to face just the minimum to this point, and it is 1-1. And Darvish has thrown an unusually high number of strikes. You see the pitch count only at 38 as he works here in the 4th inning, and he is pounding the zone. What's that percentage?
I believe 81%.
Oh, you're good.
Nope, 82. Sorry. Every once in a while, I just not have my best day.
1-2 the count. Three strikeouts so far. Make it 4. Altair down swinging, and Darvish with a perfect 4th. 10 pitches needed. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. 1-0 Texas. For the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Mike Trout, he knew that he would have a hot stretch or 3. And
pretty much since 2012, but yeah.
He's on it. Homering in 4 straight games. Bobby Bonds holds a team record of 5 straight back in '77. The poor Mariners.
Oh.
Robinson Cano to the disabled list? Are you kidding me?
I don't think there's much sympathy from the people that are watching this game right now.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But at some point, you do have to have a little sympathy for another team, because we quoted the number the other day. The Mariners, since opening day, have made a roster move on average every 15 hours. Every 15 hours since opening day.
That's crazy.
They've had a lot of injuries, and that's just a rough one. The thing we glossed over there was David Ross moving on in the Dancing with the Stars. He's in the final.
Shocked.
Line drive by Odor. That one to the wall. He'll turn and get to second. Saunders a little slow getting it in, but Odor happy with a leadoff double.
Rougned Odor is looking at a 4-seam fastball right here and elevated actually more than they even wanted it. And he does a nice job of getting on top of that ball. He is so quick. You see those hands right there. He is so quick getting to this fastball, squaring it up. 90 miles an hour from the pitch. 110 miles an hour off the bat. I wonder if that would be like a stat that you could do where you say, okay, well, the pitch was 90. The exit velocity was 110, so he was a plus 20 on that, right? So because you think how much of your own power that you have to generate. Now, that's kind of interesting, don't you think? It's more interesting in launch angle.
I mean, it's interesting until somebody comes and tells me that scientifically there's really this, that, or the other.
It's nothing to it.
What I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
Steve was shaking
great.
his head yes, so it's all the validation I need. I don't care what you think, Dave Raymond.
Obviously. Here's the 1-0. And that one fouled away. So, like, what do you think would be the biggest?
You got to square up that A.J. Griffin curveball, which is not easy to do.
I see.
Hitters
So
have
you
not been
need,
able-
yeah. So the
Right.
key is you got to get something soft.
Yep.
That you square up and really launch.
But, you know, for the fastball, I think it would be fun to see. It's got to be something to the power you generate on your own.
The whole problem, though, is that differential is really much more dependent upon the speed of the pitch than it is
Probably.
your strength. Because, I mean,
Sure.
if you throw a 97-mile-per-hour pitch and you turn it around at whatever.
A lot harder. You hit it at 110, so it's only the 13, but obviously a lot harder to get to that 97 than it was the 90. You know, it'd be a good. I'm a big fan of the idea of coming up with another set of skills competition for the All-Star game. We had the home run derby. It'd be fun. I know there's certain things that people would be worried about getting hurt. But I want to watch guys go first or third. I want to watch Delano DeShields race Billy Hamilton. Remember, Delano said he's never lost a race.
Yep.
Like, I want to see that. I mean, that would be fun. Of course, the risk of injury. What about hitting a ball off the tee, but measuring exit velocity? Who could hit the ball hardest off the tee? I'd be interested in that. So then you know that's true. The ball's not moving. Who can actually generate the greatest exit velocity just with their own strength? Huh? No, you're out?
No, it's fine. But I say just go back to Battle of the Superstars format. Let's get him in a pool and climbing a wall with a rope and running through tires. Odor off second, and the 3-2. Well, peel that check swing. He didn't go, and Napoli takes the walk. So very good start to this fourth inning. Another beautiful evening here at Globe Life Park. I'll tell you what, this homestand has offered, of course, just nail-biting, awesome tension at the ends of these games, and they've all ended up with Rangers victories. But we've had gorgeous weather, 82 degrees tonight, little breezy. Saying gusts up to 30 miles per hour tonight out of the southeast, but really just spectacular weather. Great time of year to be out at the ballpark. Flags holding on for dear life up there.
So without a doubt, something's going to blow off of my desk here today. Like, I almost lost my score sheet, and it was going in the wrong direction. It's one thing when it blows off your desk, you can bend down and pick it up, but my score sheet actually started going away from me. And I made a pretty good play. You didn't say anything about it, but it started going that way, and it was kind of one of these. I mean, if this blows out of the booth, it's all on you, buddy, the rest of the way.
Yeah, we have no chance.
So that will be referencing nothing that happened earlier in the game. That won't have it in front of me.
You can cheat off my paper.
Your handwriting is, you write so tiny.
It's not very good.
And it's in pencil, so I can barely see it. But I guess that's the advantage of having a nice heavy scorebook. That you don't have to worry about it blowing away. I'm using a single sheet of paper.
1-1 to Gallo. Tape it down or something maybe.
But I like to move it around. I got to flip it over.
Gallo lifts this one high in the air. Now, not going to be a routine play because that wind will start to carry it toward the line. And you can see Altair. Yeah. One away. And the Rangers take on the Tampa Bay Rays. That'll be Memorial Day, Monday, May 29th. And the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark will receive a patriotic Rangers cap, courtesy of Carter Blood Care. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or by calling 972-RANGERS. So one out here. Odor stays at second, Napoli at first. Yeah. Why don't you borrow this banana that I borrowed from you? Put that on your scorecard.
I don't want to borrow your banana.
Offered.
You're kind of playing the best of both worlds over there, huh? You got a cookie and a banana.
That's right. Depends on the mood. Gonna look back at second, and Odor, nobody home. But Odor was going the wrong direction there initially. Had somebody been covering, that might have been an interesting play back there.
And that's just that fake inside move, just to let Rougned Odor know that they're paying attention to him. You want to be careful about getting into too much of a pattern, letting him get comfortable with his lead.
Chirinos 0 for 1. Line out to right field in the second inning. And it was a ball that he hit pretty well. But we've been talking about the win and its impact tonight. May have knocked it down a touch. It's hard to say. Usually in that part of the ballpark, you might get even just a touch of help.
Yep.
But it certainly was not carrying, let's put it that way. Snap throw down to first, and that one out into right field. Odor will advance to third. He's going to make a big turn, but hold, and the throw all the way through to the plate.
Well, this is an ill-advised throw from Cameron Rupp, because even if it was on the money, there was not going to be a play at first base. Mike Napoli was going to be safe. So this is a little bit over-aggressive for me, but that might have been just, set up ahead of time, the backdoor pick. A lot of times catchers and first basemen will use a little hand signal, body language, something
to figure it out. But look at Rougned Odor here. He had every intention of scoring on this ball. He was treating it like almost like it was a base hit to right field, and he expected to score from second base. And Tony Beasley went full brakes, making sure he stayed put with 1 out.
Curveball, and it misses. It's 2-1 to Chirinos.
Had a great view there, by the way, real quick on Stassi, and that the way that he went back through. That's planned. When you see it like that, at his plane, you'll see the catcher sometimes reach down, try to get eye contact with the first baseman, maybe, you know, touch his right knee or something like that, and just do it real kind of sleight of hand, and they know ahead of time what to look for. It seemed like that was something that was planned between those two.
2-2, the count on Chirinos.
Chirinos has been swinging such a nice bat in that sporadic playing time where we talked about the power that we've seen from him. And, you know, when you're playing, getting irregular at bats, it can be tough to swing the bat, and he's done a really good job. But even the home runs have been really impressive. 2 off fastballs, 2 off sliders, 1 off a changeup, right? It's not a guy that's just taking advantage of some fastballs that he has seen over the course of the season. He has hit for power this year, and he's done it on all different types of pitches.
Eichhoff's 2-2, and this one hooked sharply foul.
Of course, you're always taught when you're at third base to lead in foul territory. Why? Because if that ball hits you and you're in fair territory, of course you're out. And that's looks like one of those kind of agility moves that you'll see the guys doing in the outfield once in a while, right?
Little Plutarski, Animal House.
He could hang. He could hang. Maybe Odor as one of those ninjas in Mike Napoli's locker with those kind of moves.
Eichhoff's 2-2. Another foul ball. Chirinos, among his other contributions, has been really straightening the guys out a little bit on the swipe across the front of the jersey. Trying to make sure that everybody's on board with going from the T to the S, spelling Texas. Rugi's pretty much ignored him the entire time.
It's been some confusion. You get caught up in the moment, and I think it's just more natural if you're going to go with your right hand to go left to right.
2-2 pitch, fouled off again. Well, Chirinos will see an 8th pitch in this at bat. So a great battle here at the bottom of the order. Eichhoff has had to work a little bit. This will be his 65th pitch of the night. He's allowed just the 1 run, but he has been in a little bit of trouble. This is the biggest trouble that he's been in so far tonight, with Odor at third, Napoli at second, only 1 out. A little bouncer toward third, only 1 play. That's to first. They get Chirinos, but Chirinos picks up an RBI. Odor in from third, and it's 2-0. So here comes Jared Hoying with a man at third, 2 out, and we send it out to Emily Jones.
Yeah, Jared Hoying in his second tour of duty with the Rangers. He played in 39 games for this team last season at the big league level. Got called up from Round Rock today due to the Carlos Gomez injury. Talked to Hoying today, and he said the State Farm winning combination for him is to be comfortable here because of that experience from last season, and also to bring that same production that he had at the AAA level here to Arlington. He was leading the team in doubles, home runs, and RBIs, an OPS of 812, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And Jeff Bannister today saying that Hoying's going to basically get the shot here to play, you know, kind of every day out there in center field. He's going to have a couple of starts anyway to see if he can just keep it going. The whole reason he's here, though, is not good news. Carlos Gomez placed on the disabled list yesterday with that right hamstring strain, and they're saying a month to a month and a half for Carlos.
Yeah, that was a big shocker. We saw him deal with that injury. We saw him grab his hamstring, scoring on that play on Sunday. You know, we saw him grimacing. You just never know, and you get a much better feel when you wake up the next day. And obviously, this is significant. So 4 to 6 weeks. It's a long time to be missing Carlos Gomez, who has been very good, especially as of late, but just a guy who always brings energy to the lineup, to the club. Offensively, defensively, he provides so much for the Rangers, and they're going to have to figure out how to do it without him here for a little while.
Hoying lays off a breaking ball down low. It's 2-2. Yeah, that is the one thing about Carlos Gomez. Defensively, that never seems to slump with him, and he really has come up with a lot of big saves for this team out there. 2-2, and a curveball called strike 3 to Hoying. He thought it was in, but it ends the inning. Rangers will have to settle for the run. They leave a man at third. We're through 4 innings. It's 2-0.
To nothing, and as you may have noticed, we're wearing green today as we honor Mental Health Month this May in support of our Fox Sports Supports partnership with NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and the great work they are doing in advocating for those living with mental health conditions. We encourage you guys to visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more about their stigma-free mission and how you can get involved.
Well, top of the 5th inning. Darvish has faced the minimum through 4, but he has given up the hit. He gave up a single to Herrera in the 1st inning. Ended up doubling him off. He has 4 strikeouts so far tonight. And the big right-hander. A breaking ball in there. Strike 1 to Tommy Joseph. Joseph, the designated hitter, batting cleanup tonight. 0-2. Darvish continues to fill the strike zone tonight. 0-2. And at long last, a Philly lays off a pitch in the dirt.
It's almost like you have to guess a little bit against you, Darvish, when you get down in the count, or even really at any time. When you have him throwing like this and things are moving and he's in the zone as much as he is, it's almost like you try to figure out, okay, can I pick a pitch and look for it and get after it? If I don't see it, if it's not the one that I'm guessing, and then just to go ahead and let it go.
Strike 3 called.
Did you see the frustration there? Let's take a look at our AT&T high-speed replay, and it's actually going to be that last at-bat that we saw earlier in this game. And look at you, Darvish, just working the breaking ball down, going in. You see the cutter there. A frustrating at-bat for Michael Saunders. He's working hard, and it finishes with you, Darvish, missing his spot pretty badly, but still turning into a strikeout. And that's how live the stuff has been tonight for you, Darvish. No, Michael Saunders will get another chance, which I'm sure he was very much looking forward to after that at bat against you, Darvish.
Well, after he got that third strike, you could see Darvish turn and shake his head in frustration, like, ugh, not the pitch I wanted. And a pop-up on the first pitch this time. Andrews waiting. 2 away. So that was a lot easier that time.
Yeah, I mean, just do yourself a favor. 1 pitch, 1 out. Just get out of there. You don't want to go through that nonsense again. You're probably a little less frustrated. Still frustrated. Doesn't mean it's not a fun at bat. Yu Darvish is just still absolutely crushing the strike zone right now. 9 balls to his 36 strikes.
Percentage?
Nah, I'm done with that. I got it wrong last time. I got it wrong, then I thought I got it right.
Got to be.
Yeah, that's actually
even?
probably right.
Oh, big curveball for a strike to Franco, who's 0 for 1. Maikel Franco, 209 average. And he just gets the end of the bat on that one and drops it in. That's a base hit. He'll turn for 2, and he'll get there easily. A 2-out double by Franco, and he's the first Philly to make it out to second base.
And he does it by not hitting this ball very hard. You see his 5th double of the year. Robinson Chirino set up away. The slider was exactly where he wanted it, and just kind of an all arms, no lower body swing. Just kind of throw the bat out there, get some weak contact, and he'll take it any way he can get it. But not exactly a ball that was drilled to right field. I think that's only, if I'm looking right here, the 2nd time an outfielder's even been involved in a play tonight. Herrera had the single right in the 1st inning.
Yeah.
Everything else has been a strikeout or a ground ball, or the pop-ups have been to short and have been to Mike Napoli. And so there just has not been very much action at all in the outfield. There hasn't been balls that have been hit hard really much at all against Yu Darvish.
Throws a strike to Cameron Rupp, who struck out in the 3rd. Well, wind really picking up.
Yeah, it is. Yikes.
I mean, look out, fellas. That's no fun.
We've talked about this a lot with Yu Darvish this year, in opposing hitters when runners are in scoring position. It's a robust 0.29 batting average against. Just 1 for 34 with runners in scoring position against Yu Darvish this year.
Of course, the Phillies, they've struggled so much. The one thing that they do well is with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. They are as good as you get in the National League at .302. They're alive. The 1-1. Strike 2 called.
And one thing with the wind, and it's always hard to tell exactly what's happening at field level compared to what's happening in the air. When you're at a stadium and you think about, you know, swirl and everything else, every ballpark that you go to, it's a little bit different. So we see the flags when you look at them coming in directly, kind of, you know, right field to left. Like that is blowing in directly toward third base, directly toward left field. Now, it may not be the same for Yu Darvish and what he feels on the mound, but it will affect your stuff, especially your off-speed pitches. And a lot of times, you know, when you're little, you're like, oh, wind in my back, right? Feel like I'm throwing hard. As a pitcher, not necessarily like that all the time, because it could affect or take away from some of the break that you would get, or some of the speed differential you'll get on those off-speed pitches.
Called strike 3. Gets Rupp looking. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Darvish. And so now to the bottom of the 5th we go. Top of the order coming. Delano to Shields. Elvis Andrews. And then the man who started the scoring, Nomar Mazara. Rangers leading, and MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Rangers baseball. Follow the Rangers with Game Day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast news, and more. Download MLB.com At Bat today. Wow, really?
She's
111 miles an hour off the bat? Now that's a big velocity.
That's the place to find it.
Delightful. Top of the fifth, or top of the order rather, in this fifth inning. And here is Delano DeShields, 0 for 2. He struck out in the first, grounded out in the third. And it's 2-0. Eichhoff kind of battling tonight. He has worked around a number of base runners. And he has not commanded the zone that well. In fact, falls behind here 3-0.
His overall strike percentage is right around average. That part has been fine. And it's actually only been the one walk for him, which is a nice improvement as well. That's been one of his issues this year, is that he has struggled with the walk rate, definitely higher than he wants it to be. And just as we say that, there's the second walk of the night.
The lead man on in the fifth inning. Time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. Okay, thanks, Dana. Now Andrews, and he bunts one foul. Elvis 0 for 2 tonight. Rangers got a run in the first on the Mazzara home run. They added a run in the fourth inning on an inning that started with Odor doubling, a big throwing error, and then an RBI ground out. We'll check in on DeShields.
We were kind of taking a look at Eichhoff and where he has been, and hasn't been that throwing the ball okay tonight. The walks haven't been there, just a second one, but it's interesting. So walk rate is almost doubled for him so far this season.
Boy, that was very close. My goodness. I wasn't sure he was going to be able to make it back to the bag.
We mentioned he throws over there a lot, and there's a reason for it as he tries to keep Delano close. It looked like he might have caught Delano leaning a little bit. I don't know how many times I've seen it where the hand is safe and then the foot comes around and kicks the first baseman. You don't see that too often. That's how you know he was using everything he possibly had to get back to the bag.
Does have 7 steals this year. Continue to check on him.
What I was saying as far as regarding, the walk rate hasn't been that strong. He's been right around 2 walks per 9 innings, which is a very good rate over the course of his short career. Then this year, coming into this one, he was 3.6, but they keep an interesting stat as far as how many pitchers are actually in the zone, whether they're swung at or not. And it's better than 50%, which is a career high for him. So it's interesting to see that his pitches have been in the zone more, but his walk rate.
Oh, this time they got him.
We mentioned it. He is not afraid to throw over to first base, and we just saw him throw 3 times in a row, and it looked like Delano might have been betting on the fact that they weren't coming a third time. And look at that. You see the difference there? Delano DeShields, every other time he was diving back, catching the bag, or at least the earlier time with the left hand. That time he goes back with the right hand.
They might have to challenge this one.
It was really close. Let's see.
Yep. Jeff Bannister says, let's take a look.
To go. Let's see. Watch the hand.
Is in.
Yeah, there he's in for sure.
Yep. He's going to be safe. So they're going to overturn this one based on that view we just saw.
Let's see here. That's going to be close. That view's not going to help them. But you can't see when he catches the bag. I'll tell you what. I'm not as certain as you are that this gets turned over, only because we've seen. Now it's a good view there. But because it's not on the awesome super slow-mo where it's crystal clear, look at Banny talking about what he has seen, not only from Eichhoff, but what he has seen from Delano DeShields as well. And the way that he's taking his leads, whether he feels like he's leaning too early, whatever it may be.
I would put down this $5 coupon.
Oh, look at you. Oh,
this
yeah,
free ride credit.
Yeah, that one on the big screen says.
So
this is everything you had in your pocket.
Yep. 2 coupons.
To ride with who? Lyft?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Lyft.
I'm an Uber man. Oh, look at you, Dave. So confident. The Rangers just on such a hot streak again. But this was the view. That was enough to get it turned over. Yeah, I tell you what, though, listen, it was close. And we have seen a couple of times this year just around the league where we feel like we see something that's pretty conclusive that doesn't get turned over. That's why I was worried, especially because they've always leaned toward the call on the field.
So DeShields stays alive, but he better watch himself over there. He's going. And the ball hit in the air down the right field line, and that one is twisting foul and out of play. And Saunders is hearing that wall get on him in a hurry.
And he did a nice job there, too, of not panicking, right? He found the ball. He didn't sprint back to first base, which you don't have to do in that situation. Relax, find out where the ball is in case it dropped in fair. That's a tricky one right there, especially with the wind, trying to deal with the wall. Michael Saunders plays it safe and just slides.
Andrews wanted time. Boy, a really windy night. All of a sudden here. Two-strike pitch. It just missed.
And Cameron Rupp has already shown us that he's not afraid to throw behind a runner, so they're obviously keeping a very close eye on Delino DeShields. You know, it's plus speed. We know he's an aggressive base runner. He's also got to beware not just of the Eichhoff pickoff attempt, but also the idea of Rupp throwing behind him. Cat and mouse right now. These two working each other pretty hard.
Well, the Rangers lead 2-0, and they would love to get DeShields out there to second base. Not going. And a strikeout of Andrews, one away. Well, it's Superhero Friday coming up. Post-game fireworks show. That'll be on June 2nd. Come on out to the ballpark. Rangers taking on the Astros. Stay after the game for a fireworks show set to superhero-themed music. Don't forget to wear your Rangers red and red out the ballpark. Tickets available today, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS.
Beautiful view there.
Up and in on Mazzara, so they continue to go up there.
Yeah. And he's thinking, hey, throw my little slider you threw me in the first thing. I'll take that one up and in. It has been more fastballs. And they're trying to get up under the hands of Nomar Mazzara. We know, listen, he's a big guy. He gets those hands extended, or if he keeps his hands close to his body, gets the barrel out, they know he can crush it, but they feel pretty confident they can get in there.
If you're Eichhoff, though, certainly you've been in a spot before where the scouting report said one thing, you tried to execute it and got hurt. And then, I mean, do you ever in the middle of the game say, hey, guess what? I think our scouting report might not be spot on here.
Well, it's not so much it's a scouting report, because what you have to do when you read those things is understand that, you know, it's not just because they say fastballs in this spot are not ideal. It doesn't mean your fastball in that spot is not ideal, right? Or vice versa. Hey, he's really strong here, or he's really weak here. Doesn't mean you can't do it, right? Doesn't mean you can't go to where he may be strong. It's a matter of how you get there, right? Yeah, you can't just throw to that spot all the time, but you can set a guy up and then go to that spot. And listen, he missed his spot on the home run, and so that may be it. Now, if he throws a fastball up in, like, you know, when you hit the catcher's glove and do exactly what you want to do, and a guy squares you up, yeah, then you can start to maybe have that conversation. You talk to your pitching coach, especially if you're a reliever and it's the first game of the series, and you may have to come back and face that guy again over the next 2 nights. You want to make sure that you're confident in that scouting report and go over and say, you know what, did he get to it? Was he cheating? You know, whatever it may be. Was he looking for that pitch because we went there one too many times? I mean, there's so many different varieties of things that happen in those conversations.
Throw over to first again, and DeShields back in.
I lost count. We got to be what, 7? Oh, at least 8.
I would think easily, yeah. Lionel walked to open the inning.
Here's what's interesting real quick, and if you kind of look. So Nomar Mazar, fastballs up and in so far this year, hitting just 214. Fastballs middle in, 167. So combined 4 for 20 on fastballs either up and in or middle in. So that's why they feel like they can go there. This is against right-handed pitching. That's why they feel like they can go there. Now it's different when it's an off-speed pitcher. It has a little bit of a wrinkle in it. That's not ideal. You don't want to throw a cutter or a slider up and in necessarily.
Well, so far tonight, Mazara 2 for 2 against Eichhoff. A solo home run, and it was a missile. And then the infield hit, and he foul tips this one into the glove of Rupp. Another strikeout for Eichhoff, and they're 2 away. 7 strikeouts now for Eichhoff.
He's got strikeout ability. I mean, there's no doubt about it, especially because of the combination of when he's locating his fastball well with a really good curveball. You know, he doesn't throw particularly hard, but when you know that curveball is there with a really good break, and it has been a very good pitch for him, by far the best batting average against he has on any pitch. Opposing hitters just hitting 143 on the breaking ball. What that really good breaking ball does, as we talk about so many times, is speed up the fastball, make it look quicker. So you can see why. So he throws over for the 75th time tonight to try to pick off Delano DeShields. But you can see why there's upside. You can see why there could be high strikeout totals for Eichhoff. But that 7 does tie a season high for him.
Tapper foul. You got Lucroy looking in the 3rd inning. Jonathan got him for a base hit in the 1st. So far, even battle between the two. Eichhoff, we mentioned, big kid, 6'4", nearly 250 pounds, just 26 years old. Former farmhand in the Rangers organization, and a big part of that deal, they brought Cole Hamels to Texas. Delano running, and this one out to right field. That one's going to drop in, base hit, and head into the corner with DeShields' speed. He'll be waved. He'll score. A double for Lucroy, and it's a 3-0 Rangers lead.
Well, all that hard work by Delano DeShields on the base pass pays off, and Jonathan Lucroy cashes in. He's been hot as of late. We have talked about it, but let's take a quick look at Delano first and this jump. We know how hard he has been working Eichhoff and how much Eichhoff has paid attention to him. So there he goes with a good jump, but he is peaking right away, knowing that Lucroy is going to be swinging. He gets a pitch that's up and away. And what I was going to finish that thought on Lucroy, he's been so good as of late, but he's been so good at driving the ball either up the middle or the other way. His swing has been really locked in. And what a perfectly executed hit and run situation as you see Jonathan Lucroy with his 5th double of the season. And it was a no-doubter as far as whether or not Delano DeShields was going to be able to score.
Of course, now Lucroy in scoring position for Rougned Odor, who doubled his last time up. That wind not abating at all here in the 5th inning. At game time, it was reported to be out of the southeast at about 16 miles per hour. They said gusts up to 30, and we've definitely seen those. Lucroy with a big walking lead at second base. A little high, 2-0. So Eichhoff approaching 90 pitches for the night. And in a 3-0 hole against Yu Darvish. Door a little late. 2-1. Rugi with 4 hits on this homestand, including a couple of doubles. 5 hits now with a couple of doubles. RBI, he scored 3 runs. This is a Rangers offense that has started to click a little bit on this homestand. They've won 6 straight games. Oh, and a nice slider in there for a strike. 2-2 to Odor. How about this though? The Rangers, in winning the 5 games of this homestand, first time since they moved here to Arlington in 1972 that they've won 5 straight games decided in the 7th inning or later. I mean, all these games have come right down to the very end. The last team in Major League Baseball to do it were the San Francisco Giants in 2013. You just don't see runs like the one that the Rangers have been on at this homestand very often. Two from Eichhoff. We'll do it again.
It's a great job of fighting that ball off by Odor. You see him kind of shaking his head. That breaking ball almost in Rupp's glove, right? We talk about how he takes big swings regardless of count, but he also does a nice job of getting foul balls. Now watch this. Yeah, just get it out there last second and foul that thing off. You see him shaking his head. Look at this. I mean, that is late. But that's all you're trying to do, right? He was beat on that pitch, wasn't expecting that curveball. The break was good. Do whatever you got to do to fight it off.
Fouls this one way out of play. Count stays 2-2. Boy, there have been some lengthy battles tonight for Eichhoff. Long 7 and 8 pitch at bats. He's thrown 20 pitches in this 5th inning, 90 for the night, and this will be the 7th pitch of this at bat. Lucroy out there at second. And Odor strikes out swinging. It's the 8th strikeout for Eichhoff. He's had to work for it. Rangers scratch out another run. We go to the 6th, 3-0. Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by North Texas Ford. The Great American Sales Event is happening now at your local Texas Ford dealer. Ford is the best in Texas. Well, we've played 5 innings tonight. The Rangers offense has managed 3 runs off Jared Eichhoff, and that guy, Yu Darvish, has been dealing tonight. He's faced 1 over the minimum. And he has amassed 6 strikeouts so far, but those strikeouts really don't tell the story. What tells the story is the breakdown of balls and strikes so far in 51 pitches through 5 innings.
10 balls, 80% strikes, a good rate. 62-63% is about league average when you have a nice night. 65, 66, 67, somewhere in there. But it has been incredible. But the big thing, and listen, that's nice, no doubt about it, having The high strike total is a good thing for you, Darvish, but this to me is even probably more important, where he has not had an inning where he has thrown more than 12 pitches. We know the pitch count can get up there on you, Darvish, sometimes, but not tonight so far.
2 balls and no strikes on Freddie Galvis, the 8th place hitter for the Phillies. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. 6 strikeouts in there. That the pitch count would be that low is certainly significant. It's 3-0 now. That is the first 3-ball count tonight for Darvish. Three runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Rangers. They have stranded 5. No runs, just 2 hits and 2 errors for the Phillies. Right in there. Interesting. Galvis showing bunt.
And I think that was probably a weak attempt at a distraction against you, Darvish, because he squared super early, right? You see that here, almost like trying to get you, Darvish, thrown off a little bit. Maybe if you threw him a pitch up and in, he would try to drag bunt. But once he saw that pitch was away, he had no real desire to try to bunt that pitch. That's not the one you're going to try to bunt for a hit on.
Now the payoff. And he swings and misses, strike 3. 7th strikeout for Darvish.
And you kind of end up paying the price with a strikeout. Let's take a look at you, Darvish, so far tonight in some of these strikeouts. And he has been dominant, not just in the zone, but in the zone with his live stuff. And there's that nasty slider. We saw that, showed that fastball earlier. There's another one where it wasn't where he wanted it, but enough to get it by a hitter. And then Joseph on the break ball. He's had kind of a rough break. And then this last one right here, Freddie Galvis, after the feeble bunt attempt, chases a breaking ball in the dirt. And listen, I mean, if he was serious about bunting, I guess it's okay. But you don't want to give you Darvish strikes. Don't give him any, right? In a 3-1 count, that might be the best pitch you're going to get to hit all night. I wouldn't wait around or think about trying to bunt or distract him or whatever you're doing and then put him in that 3-2 count. Not the way that he's pitching tonight.
Pretty handsome line right there as Stassi fouls one back at the count 1-1. Ninth place hitter. See the numbers for Stassi. Rolled out to first. Back of the 3rd inning. Phillies team last year that really struggled offensively. And didn't really matter how you broke down the numbers from last season. They were pretty much universally the worst in baseball. And this year, not a whole lot better. There are a lot of issues with this Phillies offense. Darvish delivers 1-2 and a bouncer foul.
You know, all they're going through with the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Let's take a look at Matt Stairs. Faced him a few times in my career. But think about the Phillies and where they are in the rebuild and some of the things that they have been struggling with. The upside to that, I mentioned some of that money that'll be coming off and kind of finishing some of those things out. They had to get through the Utley contract and the Ryan Howard contract and everything else. But they had the 1st overall pick in the last draft. They had the 10th overall pick before that, the 7th the year before that. They'll get 8th this year. So if their amateur scouts do a good job and get it done, they could pick themselves up some pretty good players over these drafts.
A tough pop out, and Andrews maybe extending just a bit too far. Knocked that one down. Did not get it cleanly. And so Stassi is on. And that looked like, you know, as it plays out, DeShields was camped underneath ready for it. And you could see that Andrews saying, well, I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, and you think about this too with the wind, you got to be a little bit louder. Your voice is not going to carry nearly as well as you have 3 guys, and you can see Delino calling it there. Now, whether or not it was loud enough, because you can, looks like Elvis will continue. You know, he'll continue to go after that ball until he's called off. Essentially, how that works. And so it's really on Delino to make sure that he is loud and in charge of that situation, so that Elvis knows that he's getting it. And that initial look right there from Delino tells me that he was calling it. But like you mentioned, that was pointing to his ear and saying, I couldn't hear you.
So, man at second base for Cesar Hernandez, who is 0 for 2.
We get a ruling on that?
Well, we were waiting for it. They have not yet ruled on it. To me, that's an error, but we'll wait and see.
I think it absolutely should be when you have a couple of guys there in the same spot.
Well, I would expect you to call it an error.
I mean, any ball put in play really should be an error. But I think so. I mean, listen, for me, you lead your feet. If you have to do something spectacular to make the play, of course, it should not be an error. I don't think that was. It would have been a nice catch, no doubt, by Elvis. But because Delino was right there as well, that's confusion. And ultimately, yeah, sounds like they made the call.
Yeah, he's 6. 2-1, meanwhile, the count to Hernandez, who has blazing speed. He swings and misses. You know, that little note right there tells a story too that I don't know that we have hit on enough. Talked about how the bullpen has been critical during this stretch for the Rangers. Now the starting pitching continues to give them a chance. The offense has produced the late runs, but the other part of it is the defense has been clean. And earlier this season, that was not always the case.
That's extremely important. Listen, when you're going through any kind of winning streak, you're playing well, you're going to be able to point to a lot of things that are going right. But turning what should be routine outs into outs is obviously very important, and the Rangers have done a really nice job of doing that. Some people say error is still a usable stat. Absolutely. Don't tell me how many times you should have made the out that you're not, and you're not doing your opponents any favors by giving them extra base runners or unearned runs, those kinds of things. And the Ranger defense, as you mentioned, has been very good as of late.
A quick conversation out there for Chirinos. Darvish, just as we had talked this inning about how he'd been so efficient inning by inning. He got into an extended battle with Freddie Galvis, eventually struck him out. Stassi reached on that weird error, and now a longer battle here with Hernandez. A payoff pitch, and he walks him.
Well, first one of the night for Darvish. As we saw, of course, full counts now twice in this inning. Robinson Chirinos just wants to go out, talk to him, make sure that error isn't bothering him. That play right there, don't let it get away. He's throwing the ball extremely well, but he is now facing the tying run here in the 6th inning as he flips the order around for the 3rd time. And Doug Brocail has something that he would like to chime in on as well.
We've seen Darvish get a couple of ground balls tonight, including a double play grounder in the 1st inning, and that one looked pretty big. Because that had allowed him to keep it to a minimum up until the 5th inning. He could really use a ground ball here with 1 out and a couple of men on.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly would be nice. You think about how great the pitch count has been and being efficient, and there's no quicker way to get back on track than right now to throw that good 2-seam fastball, slider, something to be able to get Herrera to hit over the top of it and get you that ground ball. A little bit of a tougher guy to double up, but he has hit into 3 double plays already this year. Just 6 the year before in 656 plate appearances. He has 3 already in 149.
Well, 2 runners out there in front of him, and he takes strike 1. I'm with you, though. Not your ideal candidate.
How about Herrera, too, sticking with the pink batting glove still? I did see, I don't know if you saw that. I was watching a highlight show, just replaying, and I forgot who was using. If someone was still using their pink bat on Monday, and they just said, it's got to run that by Major League Baseball, make sure that's okay. And the obvious answer was yes.
0-2. I feel like I've seen guys do that in the last several years. Just use those bats until they break or whatever, especially if they had a big game.
If you're feeling good, man.
Yep.
There is, you're going to have to fight a guy to get that out of his hands. His bat feels good right now. I'm scoring some baseballs up. Robinson Chirinos just walking back right now. This is not as much of a pitcher visit as it is a catcher visit, just kind of giving him a little bit of a breather as he took this foul ball right off his mask. And we already talked about it as far as the catching situation right now for the Rangers with Jonathan Lucroy DHing. So the potential issue there, if something were to happen and Robinson Chirinos had to come out of the game, that changes it. You can either put Lucroy in, lose your DH, and your pitcher would then have to hit in that spot for Chirinos, or, you know, obviously Mike Napoli has a history as a catcher. You know, Pete Kozma has caught some bullpens in the past. He might be a guy that you could throw out there. I would assume Napoli would be first, or it depends. If Jeff Bannister feels more comfortable, like if it's a close game, and so you know what, I'd much rather have Jonathan Lucroy than just go ahead and give up your DH spot. And maybe you're pinch hitting every time around anyway when that spot comes up.
Count stays 0-2 on Herrera. He does have a base hit. That was back in the first inning. He's grounded out to first. Phillies with just 2 hits so far tonight, but they have a couple of base runners on in this 6th inning.
The other thing too, it's a 3-man bench, but it's probably like a 2.5-man bench. I know that Jeff Bannister said before the game that Shin-Soo-Choo is available if they need him late, but that is the other issue if you were to get to that, as far as how many guys you could actually use off your bench to pinch hit.
Swung on and missed, strike 3, and Herrera down on strikes for the 2nd out of the inning.
Herrera is one of the few who hasn't struck out yet, and there is that curveball. Perfect rotation, up to down, 12-6. You see a look on Herrera's face, knowing that this pitch obviously not a strike, and Yu Darvish does a nice job of getting Herrera to go fishing.
So 8 strikeouts now. Still men at first and second. Altair has had the hot bat though for the Phillies. Not so far tonight. 0 for 2 and lifts this one out to right field. Mazzara with plenty of room. It's underneath it and the inning is over. So the walk and the error don't hurt Darvish. And we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rangers still leading by 3. Brought to you by Sonic Drive-In, and tonight the jackpot worth $2,000 plus dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Rangers are hitting for Deborah Rose from Fort Worth. And if a Ranger hits a home run this inning, Deborah wins $2,000. If they hit a grand slam, she wins $25,000. 6th inning, Mike Napoli will lead things off for the Rangers. Joey Napoli, Joey Gallo, and Robinson Chirinos. Eichhoff's first pitch, and this one shot out towards center. It'll drop in there in front of Herrera, Lead man on again, this time in the 6th inning.
So let's take a look at what happened after the inning and in between. You see Adrian Beltre talking to Delino DeShields with Jeff Bannister right there, and just kind of letting him know, most likely, we're kind of guessing a little bit, we can tell by the body language, and making sure that he is being loud and aggressive. Obviously, Adrian would be involved in that play as well as the third baseman, and just kind of letting him know, in that spot, what are we expecting as infielders on that side? We're expecting our outfielder to be loud and aggressive. Delino's a pretty laid-back guy, right? Kind of soft-spoken, monotone. And that's fine for a personality, but it doesn't work in situations like that, especially when it's really windy. So just kind of a guess, an educated guess here, at least on my part. I can't speak for you, but just that it's being, tell them we need you to be loud, right? When I do this stuff with kids, you do literally up, scream. Like, this is the time you can scream as loud as you possibly can. As soon as you know that you can catch a ball, you have a beat on it, and there could be somebody else in your vicinity, start screaming and start screaming loud, especially because it's a little extra windy. And maybe your voice is not going to carry as much.
No, you could tell, too, the conversation continuing now between Beltre and Elvis Andrus. And they work through the logistics. This ball hit hard out toward right field, but Saunders is there. Gallo retired, 1 away.
The catcher, Robinson Chirino.
Right, so some activity brewing for the Phillies out in their bullpen.
Mark Leiter Jr. Yeah. Son of, obviously, Mark Leiter, but also the nephew of Al Leiter. The tradition continues.
1 out here. And here's Robinson Chirinos. Eichhoff now, pitch count nearing 100 for him. So he's definitely done some work. And then, of course, all those throws over to first base. I mean, all of them, the 1-0. And that'll even it up with Chirinos. Chirinos has driven in a run tonight with a ground out in the 5th inning. 0 for 2. Rangers with single runs in the 1st, 4th, and 5th innings tonight. This ball hit high in the air, deep to left center. Herrera going back, and the one's going to knock it down for him, and he'll make the catch. So 2 gone. All right, Rangers fans, the 2017 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot is here. Go to TexasRangers.com/vote to send your Rangers to the All-Star Game, presented by MasterCard on July 11th in Miami. Fans who select the Rangers as their favorite team and vote 35 times will receive an offer for 50% off tickets to select Rangers games in August. So get online, vote today. Two out, Napoli at first base, bottom of the 6th. Hoying grounded out in the 2nd, struck out looking in the 4th inning, and Eichhoff comes after him. This one lined to second base. Hernandez is there, and that will do it in the 6th inning. How about that? 8 pitches for Eichhoff in the 6th. We go to the 7th. Rangers still lead by 3.
To the top of the 7th here at Globe Life Park in Arlington, and some good news to pass along tonight as there was an Adrian Beltre sighting on the field today. Before BP, AB got out, did a little jogging, worked a little at third base to see where his calf is. He said he feels like it's improving, felt good after the workout, but still feels like he's 2 to 3 weeks away from getting back on the field. But nice to see him working at third and back in the cage, guys.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And nice to see him too, engaged down there in the dugout and helping the guys work through certain things that we're seeing on the field too. As we saw last half inning, we go to the 7th, 3-0 Rangers lead. And the middle of the order for the Phillies, this one lined into left, base hit for Tommy Joseph. He'll take a big turn, but have to settle for the single.
Well, not only was Adrian Beltre out there getting some work in, but he was crushing some baseballs as well. I know it's only batting practice and what we call dead arm BP off of those batting practice pitchers and coaches. He was scoring up some baseballs pretty consistently, so he's feeling good. And it's got to be a battle, but he's playing it smart. The Rangers are playing it smart. You cannot push through this calf. You got to respond and listen to what your body is telling you and start playing in some games when your calf says it's okay. So some nice progress, but certainly some really smart moves here, I think, by the Rangers and by Adrian to not push this thing too hard.
Well, lead man on in this 7th inning for Michael Saunders, who's 0 for 2. Opening game in this interleague series with the Phillies. Back out here again tomorrow night and then Thursday afternoon. And that will wrap up this homestand. Joseph off first, and a breaking ball finds that outside corner. It's 1-1. Saunders with the start in right field. And pulls this one foul. Phillies last year lost 91 games. It was an 8-game improvement on the prior season, which they lost 99. This is the 2nd year under a new structure on the baseball side. Andy McPhail, the president. Matt McClintock, the general manager. This one bounced up the middle. Odor with a scoop throw to second for 1. The relay to first is not in time. Saunders beats it out.
Yeah, you knew this was going to be a close play, and that was based on how this ground ball was hit, and the Rangers want to take a look. You'll see it here as Elvis gets there in time, gets the foot on, has to wait for that ball to get there, but this is what we want to see. And ooh, that's close.
That is close. We'll take another look.
That angle would be tough to turn over. It's so interesting. We get spoiled with some of those real slow, the slow-mo cameras that we have, super slow-mo. The pictures are great. Does not look like the Rangers are going to challenge, and that's probably a good idea.
So Saunders is on with 1 out. He replaces Tommy Joseph. And now Franco, who doubled in the 5th inning. Phillies with 3 hits so far tonight off Yu Darvish. Darvish, this will be his 80th pitch of the night. He was terrifically efficient through 5 innings. Used 22 pitches though in the 6th. This is low here, 2-0.
Yeah, ever since we had kind of made that comment through 5 innings where he had only thrown 10 pitches out of the strike zone, or at least 10 balls. There was more that were out of the strike zone, but they were chased for strikes as he was ahead in the count and setting guys up really well. All of a sudden we're starting to see some more balls out of the strike zone, but the pitch count is still really good. We might see some stirring here pretty soon in the Ranger bullpen, but you're thrilled with 80 through 6 1/3.
3-0 on Franco.
You know, Franco is a guy that has some power. He hit 25 home runs a year ago, and most likely not going to be a high batting average guy, not going to be a high on base guy. Just not really what his game is. That on base is sub 300 right now, and so you can get him a chase, but you got to get ahead in the count in order for him to do that.
We take it all the way, and it's 3-1. Cameron Rupp waiting on deck. You see some activity. Alex Claudio loosening in the pen. Cursory glance at the runner, and now the 3-1 pitch. That's ball 4. So his first walk came last inning. Another walk here in the 7th inning. And you can see some frustration on the face of Yu Darvish. Hi, Rangers fans. Come out May 17th for an autograph session with Rangers third baseman Joey Gallo at the Whataburger at 3204 Town East Boulevard in Mesquite. That's at 10:30 a.m. And while there, sign up to be the Whataburger Whata fan, and you could win tickets to a Rangers game as well as Whataburger for a year. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more information. Doug Brocale quickly out to the mound to have a word.
He's trying to get a little bit of feedback and try to get a read here on Yu Darvish. Sometimes these visits are not always about the information and the words that are exchanged, but Doug will go out there, take a look, see what kind of reaction he gets, body language reactions from Yu Darvish to see whether or not he's getting tired. No pitcher's going to tell you, any pitcher worth their salt at least, yeah, I'm getting a little tired and I'm feeling great. Like they don't say those things. I'm fine, no problem. But you watch, get a read on the body language a little bit. Now we're at the part of the order where Yu Darvish has had some good success. A couple strikeouts of Rupp. There's not been a base hit or anybody that's gotten on base outside of the error from Stassi. So these guys, the next 3 that are due up, are combined 0 for 6.
And there's a big swing and a miss. Strike 1 on Cameron Rupp. Rupp has a little bit of power, and he and his catching teammate Andrew Knapp really have done a very good job at the plate, combining their numbers, averaging 271 as a tandem. One in the dirt. Good block by Chirinos to keep it out in front of him and hold the runners at their stations. But Knapp and Rupp, they have a combined 840 OPS this year, and that's the 4th best catching tandem in the big leagues. The Giants, the Royals, and the Brewers, the only ones in that league. So far, though, Rupp is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts tonight. And he hits this one high in the air, shallow center. Hoying coming in, and he will call off Odor and make the catch. And that, at least it was clear that the communication was loud, and Odor made it obvious that he heard it.
Well, a lot of times the infielders, and you'll see this from Rougned Odor, he'll start waving his hands. But watch as Hoying comes in, he takes a look at Odor, and then look how loud, right? Everything he has right there to scream it out, especially since there was already an issue in left field. You maybe come out a little bit more aggressive and understand, because you don't just go to Delino and say, hey, you got to be louder. Make sure the other guys understand, hey guys, windy out right now, voices aren't carrying as well, let's make sure we're calling these things and we're being loud. And so Hoying does a nice job, and Rugi does a good job as well getting out of the way, because he did start waving his hands, which is important, right? It's just like, you know, making sure that the outfielder can see that, or anybody else can see it in their peripheral, that he is going to get it. But that's the right play. You always want the guy that's coming in to catch the ball.
Now breaking ball in there for a strike to Freddie Galvis. 3-0 Rangers lead. The Phillies 0 for 4 so far tonight with runners in scoring position. They have Saunders at second, Franco at first. Darvish with 8 strikeouts so far tonight. One of them of Galvis, who's 0 for 2. Strike two.
We saw this with Galvis in his last at bat where he had a hard time laying off the low breaking pitch, right? Remember when he was in that favorable count and he got himself to 3-2 and he chased a pitch out of the zone, and he has shown no discipline on that breaking ball right now. Interesting, Robinson went back out there to talk to him again, maybe just to make sure and say, okay, if we're going to use the fastball, let's make sure we're on the same page real one. Might not want it for a strike, let's elevate under his hands, whatever it may be. We can always go back to the breaking ball or tell him, you know, hey, let's just stay with it. Yeah, he's asking for the high fastball.
0-2.
Oh,
Bouncer up the middle, and that one is through for a base hit. Saunders scores. Heading to third is Franco. Phillies have broken through, and it's a 3-1 game.
that was interesting to kind of watch how that whole thing played out. And that was a fake target from Robinson Chirinos as he went up high, but they actually called for the breaking ball, and that one was not nearly as far down. You see the frustration there from Yu Darvish, not nearly as low as he wanted it, right? The other two were below the zone, and he got that swing and miss. And then on an 0-2 count, this one catches way too much of the plate, and it gives Galvis an opportunity to put the ball in play, and ultimately that leads to a base hit.
So runners on the corners. Brock Stassi, the 9th place hitter. He's 0 for 2, and the pitch on the way from Darvish. So the fake sign or indication of the high fastball and then coming back with a breaking ball, is that was an obvious concern that they think they're relaying signs from second base?
No, it's just you're just doing it that way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you believe they're picking up signs, but you do that for Galvis. Maybe he sees that in the corner of his eye if he's looking back. You do that for the runner on second at the time, who was Michael Saunders, in case you think maybe is he giving any indication on location. A lot of times it's not always about picking up signs, but sometimes just picking up location. And so, you know, and I'm not saying that's the case, but those are the different reasons you do it. I would believe in that situation that was more for Freddie Galvis to see. Like, you know, hitters are looking, they're peeking a lot of times where they can see things in the back, and I think Robinson wanted Galvis to see his glove go up, thinking they were going to throw the high fastball and then come back and throw the breaking ball, but it was not exactly where Darvish and Chirinos wanted it.
2-strike pitch. We'll do it again.
Again, see, that's 0-2, and as good as Darvish has been tonight, and it's been nice to see him be efficient with his pitches, I got to believe Jeff Bannister and Doug Brocail would love to see him bury that pitch. That's 2 0-2 breaking balls that have caught too much of the plate.
The Phillies have plated a run in this 7th inning. And Franco at third, Galvis at first, and Chirinos out again.
Very, very interesting here with these guys, and all of a sudden there seems to be a little bit of miscommunication. We know this. Robinson Chirinos is great behind the plate, and he has a plan, and he does his homework, but he wants to talk about it, and he wants to make sure they understand how an important part of this game that they're in right now. And obviously they made a mistake on the 0-2 pitch to Galvis. They do not want to repeat that mistake again.
His last 2 innings, Darvish has really had to work. This will be his 42nd pitch in the 2 innings combined, after throwing just 52 in the first 5. The 0-2 skips up there.
That's all right. That's the right one. You've got to give him an opportunity to chase something out of the zone. Now, if you don't want to go much deeper and you want to get back in the zone, that is fine, but you have to, in my opinion, especially at this point in the game, throw one out of the zone. You don't want to get beat on a 0-2 pitch with something in the zone. But a nice job of creating an advantage. You give it right back and you stay in the zone in that count.
And go up high again here. The runner goes from first, and this one fouled back.
Man, still digging deep. 97 miles an hour from Yu Darvish on his 94th pitch of the evening. He is feeling strong. The velocity is still there. We've seen as high as 98, as low as 70 with him. That's that slow breaking ball that he will throw. A good fastball at 98. This becomes now digging deep, making that last pitch to try to finish Brock Stassi off.
Well, here's the 1-2. And he got him swinging. 9th strikeout of the night for Darvish. Oh, and he needed it.
It's the curveball, and it is located well with tight rotation. And Yu Darvish excited about that one, and a great finish to the 7th inning.
As we go to the bottom of the 7th inning tonight. And our AT&T matchup tomorrow, middle game of this series. Zach Eflin, Andrew Kashner.
It's time, isn't it time? For Andrew Kashner
yes.
to get that W. There's been some games where, without a doubt, he has thrown well. And again, new age, advanced metrics. The win is maybe not looked upon as valuable as it used to be. But ask that guy, ask any other starting pitcher if those wins matter to them. Yes, you want to pitch well first. That is priority number one. But they want those wins. We still care about W's. Pitchers still care about W's. We still keep track of them. 20-game winner is still something that sounds really nice that guys would like to put on their resume. So let's make it tomorrow night, the night that Andrew Kashner gets on the board as a member of the Rangers.
He has certainly pitched well enough to get one to this point. It just has not happened. As now Mark Leiter Jr. is in to pitch. And that is it for Jared Eichhoff as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning and a 3-1 ball game.
See the numbers there for Leiter, a rookie, first time for him. The big league level, always cool to see the son of a former big leaguer. We also mentioned the nephew of Al Leiter. Toms River, New Jersey, which is for the Northeast kind of a hotbed for Little League baseball. They've had some pretty good runs, right? Todd Frazier, some other guys.
DeShields shoots one the other way. High in the air out there to right field, and Saunders back to the wall to make the catch. Wow. Some opposite field power for DeShields, but just shy of getting it out.
Yeah, not necessarily what we would expect from Delano, driving the ball this well. Potential power in the air the other way, and he gave this one a ride. Saunders does a nice job of getting there and finding the wall. Delano saying, dang, a little bit more, a couple extra push-ups.
Now Andrews. Elvis 0 for 3 so far tonight. Couple of strikeouts against Eichhoff. By the way, Jared Eichhoff, 6 innings pitched, 3 runs on 7 hits. Only 2 of the runs earned, walked 2, struck out 8. All in all, really, for Eichhoff, not a bad outing at all. Well, he went up against Yu Darvish, who has been better. 1-1 now to Andrews. This one on the ground, right side. But Hernandez to his left, able to pick it up in time, and they take care of Andrews, 2 away. All right, time for us to take a Chevy game break. Let's send it back once again to Dana Larson. Okay, thanks, Dana. 2 out here, bottom of the 7th. Rangers lead by 2. And Mazara, who has already homered tonight, takes one high. Mark Leiter Jr., the right-hander, he's been up with the Phillies now for about a month. He was called up from AAA Lehigh Valley on April 18th. Now, his dad, Mark Sr., pitched for the Phillies in '97 and '98. And so that makes them one of just 2 father-son combinations to play for the organization. And a storied, very historic organization. But the Amaros, Ruben Amaro Sr. and Jr., they both did it.
Are you surprised to find out that Mark Leiter Jr. is the first ever player to come out of the New Jersey Institute of Technology to play in the big leagues? Been a handful of guys, that a couple have played in the minor leagues, some independent ball, but the first one ever to reach the big leagues out of a school. That's a big deal.
That is interesting, yeah.
For a school from New Jersey, who obviously not necessarily the hotbed of college baseball. Like, anytime the Northeast guys make it out of college, it's always a big deal. I went to college in Queens, and you get guys that every once in a while will get to the big leagues, and you certainly like seeing it when you're from that area.
Well, he strikes out Mazara to complete a 1-2-3, bottom of the 7th inning. We go to the 8th tonight. Rangers leading by 2. Darvish, 9 strikeouts through 7 innings. Dominant tonight, even though he was ultra dominant in the first 5. Had to work a little harder the last 2 innings, but a very good outing for him. Jonathan Lucroy continues to swing a really good bat. Drove in the 3rd run tonight for the Rangers. They lead 3-1 as we go to the 8th inning. Alex Claudio has come on, so Darvish done after 7.
Yeah, Claudio's been really, really good here for the Rangers. Has become kind of that utility guy. They've been able to use him in a lot of situations, and tonight it'll be setup man, at least with the first 2 hitters. Hernandez, the switch hitter, Herrera, the lefty, and we'll see. I mean, Jeff Bannister has usually been pretty quick to get him out of there with a righty in a big situation, but I mentioned this a lot with him. He's got that really good sidearm changeup that he's very tough on righties with. We'll see how this inning goes and whether or not he'll get that chance.
Ryan Rua takes over in left field. in this 8th inning. So Claudio, the first pitch fouled away for a strike. Well, Hernandez has been bottled up pretty well so far in this one. Darvish got him to roll out to shortstop a couple of times before finally walking him in the 6th inning. A somewhat dynamic leadoff hitter. You could see where Phillies fans would get pretty excited about him. He's
There's that change.
a little off balance on that one. 1-2 the count.
He's having the great year, but he has really been strong against right-handed pitching, and so you could see why they would want to turn him around. And it's still good numbers against lefties, but just really strong against those righties.
Oh, he did not look very good in that at bat. And Hernandez strikes out, 1 away in the 8th inning.
That's the great righty neutralizer for a sidearm pitcher. You got to have that changeup, and look at the spin on this thing, right? It's like almost like a waterfall, right, where he gets that top spin and it rolls over. And you think about if you're throwing that pitch from a traditional arm angle, it spins the other way, right? You throw a changeup from a regular arm angle, that ball spins underneath and backwards. You throw it sidearm, and it has actually top spin on it. So it's completely different spin when you throw that changeup, or any pitch for that matter, but especially the changeup and the fastball from that arm angle.
Timeout taken there momentarily as Herrera steps in with 2 outs. Pardon me, 1 out. He's 0 for 2, and he shows bunt. And he's goofing. I don't think he was real serious about it right there.
He probably wants to take a look at one, right? When you see a lefty on lefty matchup like this, and for Herrera dealing with a pretty tough arm angle, not a bad idea to try to get a look, or if you think you can steal yourself a ball.
Pops this one up out into right field. Mazzara with plenty of room back there in that corner, and he makes a catch, 2 away. Okay, so the Rangers and Astros are going to get together again Saturday, June 3rd, and the first 10,000 fans to the ballpark will take home a Cole Hamels superhero bobblehead, courtesy of Jimmy John's Gourmet Sandwiches. Don't forget to wear your Rangers red to red out the ballpark. You can get your tickets today, TexasRangers.com, or by calling 972-RANGERS.
It's a pretty good bobblehead right there. That's a cool one, without a doubt. So now Claudio gets the opportunity, which is great. We'll see how it goes here. And look at that. So you're thinking when you see that, so all those changeups to the righty, comes back and pops a fastball. And here's the other thing too, the scouting reports, like when you say, okay, what's the guy doing versus lefties and righties, it doesn't play here either, because again, the spin is completely different on the fastball and the changeup.
Floats that one in there, but just a little low. 1-1 on Altair, who's 0 for 3 so far tonight.
But that has to be a nice confidence booster. Even though he's 0 for 3, we know how well he's been swinging the bat coming in. But for Claudio, for him to leave him in against a good hitter, oh, it's so fun to watch. I love it. I mean, I love it. I was a sidearmer at the very end of my career, and so I just love seeing him pitch with this great changeup and just eat up these righties when he locates it. They're sitting there going, man, he's almost smiling, right? 70-something miles an hour. How can I not get to that from that arm angle? It should look good. Low arm angle coming into a righty.
Reaches out and taps this one to short. Andrus takes care of it. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning. Alex Claudio nails to the last of the 8th. Rangers by 2. Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by AT&T Internet. Visit AT&T.com/keepcalm to learn more. Well, Rangers with a 3-1 lead. Bottom of the 8th inning. Jonathan Lucroy will start things off. And he has looked good at the plate once again today. 2 for 3, an RBI double his last time in. Rangers would love to add a run or two here. And Leiter puts it in there. It's 1-1 to Lucroy. Rangers with 7 hits in this one so far tonight. Phillies a run on 4 hits, and this one flashed foul. Strike 2 on Lucroy. Five-game hitting streak for Jonathan now. 10 hits in these 5 games. And that one pushes him back.
Yeah, as I mentioned, he has been so solid, so strong. As you see Matt Bush warming up, he'll be coming out most likely for the 9th inning. And unless this game gets out of hand, and maybe the Rangers put a few runs on the board. So good with 2 strikes.
Nice stop down there by Franco, and he's able to get it over the first in time. 1 away.
Well, this is a really nice play. Jonathan Lucroy is very difficult to put away with 2 strikes. He's shown that all season throughout his career, but a couple of steps to the left. Nice play by Franco, and get up and deliver a pretty good throw. A strong throw. Off the line a little bit, but a strong throw, knowing he's got to hurry. Nice play.
So now Odor doubled and scored a run.
You see Rookie looking at that fastball. They wanted that one up and in, and finishing down and in. That's a sweet spot for him, without a doubt. He'd love another shot at that one.
One ball and 1 strike. Leiter pitching in a 2nd inning. Retired the 3 batters he faced in the 7th, including a strikeout of Nomar Mazara, and then got Lucroy here to start this 8th inning. Two and 1. Rangers have won 6 in a row. That's the longest active streak right now in Major League Baseball. It's tied for the 3rd longest streak this season. The Yankees earlier this year won 8 in a row. Nationals won 7 in a row earlier this year as well. It's a full count now on Odor. So a win tonight would give them the 2nd longest win streak of the season in baseball. That's high, and Odor walks. And that's something he's done with a little more regularity on this homestand. Hey, Rangers fans, get $10 Upper Reserve box seats most Tuesdays all season long, courtesy of Fox Sports Southwest. You can also add a $10 meal to your seats when you buy online. Just go to TexasRangers.com/specials and use coupon code FSSW10 to reserve your $10 seats today. The Rangers have a man on for Napoli now, who's reached every time he's come to the plate. A couple of base hits and a walk for Napoli. Count 0-2.
You don't worry too much, I think, with Mike Napoli. The batting average, right, you saw it there, 179, came in at 165. These are the things you look for, right? The good at-bats from him. Walk, couple of singles, putting the ball in play, getting going. He's shown the power this year with his 7 home runs. Batting average will come over time, but the quality of the at-bats have been really strong as of late.
Door off first, and the 2-strike pitch. That one sent out towards center field. Racing back is Herrera at the fence, and it's gone, a home run. Napoli puts it over the fence. The 0-2 pitch. And he extends the Rangers' lead.
I just mentioned that the at-bats have been really good here for Mike Napoli, and even though he had gotten himself down in that 0-2 count, he continued to battle, got a pitch he could handle, and he ends up smoking this ball to center field. And what a night now for Mike Napoli. 3 for 4 with a walk, added the home run, a couple of RBIs as well. It's just a matter of time before he heated up, and we really have seen it here as of late for Mike Napoli, and smiles all around in that Ranger dugout.
Add a ninja to that locker.
That's right.
Now Gallo, he hits a ball hard down to first. Stassi has a nice spin and then feeds Leiter 2 away.
Let's take a look at this home run here from Mike Napoli. Trying to bury something in a 2-strike count, and instead it's up over the plate. You see him get the head out with the weight back, squaring it up and hitting it hard.
Everybody loves it. 5-1. Strike to Chirinos, who's 0 for 3 tonight, but he has driven in a run. Mazzara a homer, Napoli a 2-run shot tonight. And a bouncer down to third. Boy, nice flag by Franco, and his sort of first is in time to win the inning. So the Rangers add a couple more. And now we go to the 9th, trying to extend this streak to 7 straight wins. Matt Bush coming on to close it off.
here in the top of the 9th, and the closer on as they look to finish off what would be a 7th straight victory. Hi there, Dana Larson reminding you we'll have Rangers Live, the post-game edition, coming up right after the game. Mark McLemore and Tom Grieve will join me to break down Yu Darvish's night and the timely hitting from the offense. We'll hear from the skipper, key players in the clubhouse. The Rangers looking to keep the pressure on the division leaders. We'll check in with the still hot Houston Astros and a showstopper in Detroit tonight. We'll have a look around the league and so much more, all coming up right after the game, guys. See you then.
All right, Dana, sounds like a busy night. And it has been a real good night out here on the field as Matt Bush on in this 9th inning. No longer in a save spot, but he doesn't mind. Tommy Joseph leading it off.
You would assume he doesn't mind. Of course he doesn't. He loves that Mike Napoli hit that home run. But I think about the comments from, if you pay attention to the game a little more nationally, Randy Levine with Dylan Betances this past offseason. He goes to arbitration. He says, well, he's on a closer who doesn't have the saves, even though Dylan Betances is a hugely valuable pitcher. So no save tonight from Matt Bush.
Joseph lifts this one way out there to right center, and Jared Hoying covering some ground to pull it in.
And then he dropped it on the exchange, but they will call that an out.
All right, time for our Jimmy John's delivery of the game.
Yeah, let's take a look at the offense from the Rangers tonight. First, it was Nomar Mazara in the first inning with the big home run. And then we saw Robinson Chirinos do a nice job of getting a run in on the ground. He'll take that every time. Then go to the 5th inning. Jonathan Lucroy with his RBI double with Delino DeShields in motion, and then the big blow from Mike Napoli on a 2-seam fastball that was up on an 0-2 count. Smacks it to dead center for his 8th home run and 20th RBI of the year.
One out now, and Michael Saunders, who's 0 for 3 but has scored the Phillies' only run. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 7th. In a hole here, 0-2 to Bush. And Alex Claudio with a perfect 8th inning to get this one to Matt Bush. It was very good. Darvish 7 strong tonight. And the Rangers with plenty of offense. There's a swing and a miss, and Saunders down on strikes, 2 away.
Hey, real quick, just so what happened here on this first batter, a little bit of a scare there for a second. Hoying actually made a pretty funny facial expression afterwards, but he had it, and he banged into the wall. So that actually is not on the exchange. I'm not saying he should have been called save for that not ruled a catch, but you didn't see, it wasn't hand in the glove and then he dropped the ball. He actually banged into the wall and the ball came out, but they immediately called that a catch. Kind of interesting.
And Mark Ripperger, our second base umpire, was out there, saw it clearly. So pitch to Franco, good heater, comes inside, ball 1. Franco, the last hope for the Phillies, down by 4 in the 9th. 1-0 from Bush, and this one hit high in the air out toward right field. Mazara is back, has room, makes a catch, and this one is over. Rangers have won 7 straight. Second longest winning streak in Major League Baseball this season.
What a nice inning, clean inning there from Matt Bush. What was that, 7 pitches to get it done, if I'm not mistaken? And it wasn't a save situation, but it was a clean 9th nonetheless.
So 7 in a row for the Rangers with 2 left on this homestand. And this one, it's just the cleanest, most straightforward of the group.
Listen, no drama's okay once in a while. They don't all have to be dramatic. They don't all have to be heart attack wins. Yeah, those are fun. We like seeing the walk-offs and how great this team has been from the 7th inning on and the runs that they have scored during this win streak. But you know what? It's okay to get a lead once in a while and just hold it throughout the game. Overall, a pretty good, clean game here played by the Rangers. When they got on top, they stayed on top. Darvish was great in the bullpen, finished it all. But let's take a look at Yu Darvish tonight and some of the great work that he did. As I mentioned early on, just pounding the strike zone through the first 5 innings. So typical of what we see from Yu Darvish. The live fastball even gets away with missing the spots a couple times. He has that kind of stuff. The breaking ball was tight. He had these Phillies hitters tied in knots most of the night. Started to get himself in a little bit of trouble where the pitch count started climbing up in the 6th and the 7th. But that reaction right there, finishing off the 7th inning with the strikeout in a huge situation against Brooke Stassi.
All right, and some good insurance runs late in this one. 5-1 victory. Mike Napoli standing by with Emily Jones.
Thank you very much, Mike Napoli. 7 wins in a row for this team. How pleasant has this week been?
It's been great, especially to come home and take care of what we're supposed to do. Obviously, we weren't playing the best ball before this, but we're getting things going. We're playing as a team. We're getting good pitching, good defense, and we're getting timely hitting.
How important is it to establish yourselves here at home?
It's real important. I mean, it's it's our home field. It's what we have to do. But we're taking care of business now. I'm about to get this cold.
I'll step away.
I don't want to do good anymore.
Nap, you don't. It's a good thing. Nap, for you, starting the season off the way you did, I know you were disappointed, but to start, are you starting to feel more like yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of baseball. It's part of the grind. It makes you appreciate the good times so much more. I never gave up. I came in every day as a new day, got in the cage, worked with MASH, stayed positive, and the good thing about our team is that you got good teammates that pick you up all the time when you're going through tough times. So for them to stick with me and encourage me to keep going, it makes it all better.
One more thing, I did the story on your brother Joey sending you the ninjas for your locker.
You get another one.
You got another ninja, yeah. That's a cool thing that you guys have done for a long time, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he picks something different every year, and somehow he found all these different colored ninjas, so they'll be hanging in my locker.
All right, thanks, Nap. We appreciate it. Guys, we'll send it back up to you.
Right on. Super Ninja Warrior right there. Mike Napoli with a big game. And the Rangers win it 5-1. Dana Larson, Tom Grieve, Mark McLemore. They'll be back to talk a lot more about you, Darvish. We're going to break down Jonathan Lucroy's night back here. For CJ Nitkowski, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond saying stay right there. Rangers Live postgame show starts right after this.